broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Woodstock, Georgia. It's time for KidBiz Radio.
KidBiz Radio creates conversations about the power of entrepreneurship and the positive impact that journey can have on kids.
For more information, go to kidbizexpo.com. Now, here's your hosts. Hello, welcome to KidBiz Radio. I'm Layla.
And I'm Austin.
And today we have an awesome guest with us in the studio, Rebecca with New Day Education and Motivation.
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, Rebecca, I am actually retired volunteer fire chief. I've made history in this county by becoming the first female fire chief. I volunteer department up in Lake Arrowhead in this county. Little did I know I was making history. I just raised my hand to help my community. And the next thing I know, I'm getting letters of accommodation from congressmen and all these other people telling me. Cool. So that was cool. And then I also have been in the physical security world for the last 20 years. I'm a licensed security professional. So when you think of security guards, you think of cameras. Yeah. I've been selling those services, running sales teams that sold those services. So I'm also an advisor for the Cherokee County Fire and Explorer program. Okay. So all kinds of different hats.
All kinds of things.
So how'd you get started in this business?
So with my current company, New Day Education Motivation, I actually started that because on a sales call, cool story. You're going to love this. So I was on a sales call. I was working for a staffing company and I was trying to convince him to use our staffing company to get him forklift operators and those types of people. Very quickly in the conversation, I realized that really wasn't going to go anywhere and we weren't the right fit for him. Yeah. So he started talking about his workers. And I had mentioned at the time I was running the fire department. I was a fire chief and I was doing CPR and AED and first aid classes for my community. Okay. So he's like, "Oh, you do those classes?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, the people we have suck." He said,
to put it blatantly.
He's like, "Well, again, this is like, construction, HVAC industry. Yeah. They don't beat the bush." So he said that they had some incidents and he didn't feel people were prepared. So he's like, "I would love for you to teach it." And I was like, "Well, number one, we technically shouldn't be having this conversation because I'm supposed to be trying to get you to sign a staffing contract." Yeah. And I'm like, "I would love to, but it would have to be on a Saturday because the full-time commitments." And so he basically told me, "Well, I want you to do it. And are you available on this Saturday?" I'm like, "Sure." You go, "Okay, so I'm going to have you do it. I'm going to have you teach my guys. And by this date, I need you to be a business. I need you to have your tax ID number. I need you to be registered with the state of Georgia."
Very, direct.
Yes, very.
So I did it. So that's how I started my business. And I've still maintained him as a client. And then I picked up a couple of more and maintained those for the last 6 years. And
that's really impressive.
Yeah. And then last August, I decided that instead of just doing this as a Saturday business, I realized after the last 20 plus year journey, started my working career at 16 working at McDonald's.
Yeah.
So I've been working for a long time.
Yes.
What I realized last fall is that I'm good at sales, but I'm passionate about educating people to be prepared in emergencies and to make a difference in their life and others.
Yeah.
So on this journey, what have you done that has helped you become a successful entrepreneur that you are today?
Having conversations with other entrepreneurs.
It always helps.
Yep.
Yeah.
And being in the security industry the last 20 years, there's a bit of a progression in that world where you get into it because you just got out of the military or you just got out of law enforcement. And then you do that for a while. You work for somebody else. You work in a security company. And then you get to the point where, you know what? I have enough experience, certifications.
Let me do it myself.
Let me do it myself. And so there's like a plethora of people to talk to that have started their own companies. And it was actually one of my good friends that when I was running a sales team, I managed people that reported to his business unit. Okay. He's the one that encouraged me to start, to really focus 100% of my efforts. And after that conversation, he's like, "You need to go for it.
Just do it."
You're getting to the point where you're getting to that age where if you don't, you're not going to do it. So just jump off the cliff.
Yeah, I like that.
And he connected me with his marketing person that set up my website and then other people. So really it was those relationships that I've been developing over the last 20 years.
Okay.
That I was able to reach out to and bounce things off of.
That's very cool.
Love it. Love it.
Okay, we have had several different kinds of answers to this question, but what do you define success as?
I define success as doing what you absolutely love and making a difference in other people's lives. And I firmly believe that when you do that, the money and the finances will follow. But ultimately, I can tell you, running emergency calls and having to face death and see things, that in those final moments of people's lives, they are not asking us as EMTs and firefighters and telling us what's in their bank account.
No.
Yeah.
They're calling out for loved ones. They're running through their mind what they did or what they didn't do. And that's how I want to live my life. That in my last moments, there's not going to be regrets because I might not have a penny to my name, but by God, I know that I gave it my best and I helped as many people as I could.
That's a
I'll
good
let
way
the
to go.
good Lord decide what happens on the end.
That's a good. I mean, if you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life, or so they say. But
Yeah.
So, speaking of some regrets you hope not to have in the future, do you have any regrets in your journey to becoming an entrepreneur, or maybe like setbacks that you had?
One of the regrets I would have is that when I decided to jump in and focus on this full time, I wish I would have prepared a little bit better before I just jumped off because I had been working for a security company and I resigned from that position in April. Then I went to work for another one for a little bit. And then all last summer, I was like, oh, I'll just get back on the hamster wheel. I'll work for somebody else. And then last fall, I decided to do it. So I really wish looking back that I had taken those months and built a little bit more of a pipeline for myself.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. Do you have any advice for any aspiring entrepreneurs to help prevent some of those regrets? Or just any advice in general?
Find people that are doing what you want to do and that love what you want to do.
Yeah.
So
It
story
does help.
Yes. So yeah, don't find an entrepreneur that's like hating life.
Yeah.
And is like, Oscar the Grouch is like a positive person compared to this person you're talking to. Okay. Find someone that really loves it. And this story time about that is when I was elected to be the volunteer fire chief at Lake Arrowhead. Again, my background is sales, security sales. Before that, I had a nursing background. I worked as a CNA and I was on that. My dream as a little tiny thing was to be a medical missionary, to go overseas somewhere, Africa, India, somewhere, and just plant and help a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that in a different way. I'm just not in a village in India right now,
Yeah.
It's more local.
Yeah, exactly. So when I was elected as a fire chief, I thought to myself, I don't know anything about being a fire chief. I mean, I know how to be a firefighter. I know how to be an EMT. I know how to train people. I know how to train my firefighters. So I actually started reaching out to my former instructors that put me through fire school and EMT school, and then just started looking on the internet for other female fire chiefs. So I started making phone calls and emailing and getting anybody to talk to me. And so the few ladies that did call me back, I'm like, hey, hello, hi. This is what I'm doing. What advice you can give me? And so I literally I filled notepads full of notes from these ladies as far as what books to read, what to do, and they were a tremendous help.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the past and the present. Let's talk about some future things. Do you have any future goals for your business? Short term, long term, anything?
Yeah, I would say a long-term goal that I have, and depending on how hard I work and what happens, it may not be long-term. But the one goal I have is to get to a point where I'm so busy with CPR, first aid, bloodborne pathogens, fire safety classes that I have to hire other instructors to keep up with the demand.
Yeah.
And then I can
that's
move
a really
over
great goal.
to the more motivation part of my company and do more speeches and be in more media opportunities like this to inspire others. Because I can tell you that when I was in your shoes and your age, there was very few people, if I can think of maybe one individual, but I had nobody in my life that was encouraging me and inspiring me to be my best. Being an entrepreneur, oh Lord, no, that wasn't even,
not even a question.
that wasn't across the ocean.
Yeah, my mom always said that, like, as her generation growing up, it was always the one thing you had to do was go to college. That's how you'll be successful in life. That's what you were supposed to do. And now here she is running Kid Biz with Renee. So
yeah, my mom's always talked about how she just regretted not being an entrepreneur sooner because of just the pressures that was put on her. So she's like made sure to never put those on anyone like me or Harper. So
that's incredible.
Okay, so these are kind of more in-depth questions, so take your time with answering. If you had the attention of the whole world for 5 minutes, everyone was paying attention and listening to what you were saying, what would you say?
I would say every single person that's on the planet, you were designed for a purpose. You have unique talents. You have unique skills. And you have the power to make a massive difference and bless other people's lives. So use those, figure out what those are, whatever just excites you and you're passionate about, and use them. Yeah. Don't let anybody tell you that it's wrong, or anybody tell you that, well, you're not good enough. Yes, you are good enough because you have a talent I don't have. You have a talent I don't have. And that's what I would do, because I see that time and time again, especially being an advisor with the Explorer Post, is everyone has so much potential, and we spend too much time in our lives telling ourselves and letting other people tell us about how all this isn't right and you can't do this and you can't do that. Yes, we can, but we can do what we were designed to do.
Yeah. Another question. If you woke up tomorrow without your business, what would be your first steps to recovery if you even wanted to recover?
I would figure out why I don't have a business anymore.
It just disappeared out of thin air. You have no idea where it went. As if it never existed.
Well, I would be doing a lot of praying, and I would reevaluate, think, okay, well, I thought that was a good business plan, but maybe not. And sort of like what I did when I became fire chief, start making a whole lot of phone calls and talking to people.
Yep. Communication, networking, all the things.
It always helps. Okay, so after said deep, more in-thought questions, we have a quick this or that. Answer as quick as you can. It's going to be just simple this or that. All right. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Spider-Man or Batman?
Batman.
Books or movies?
Books.
Waffle or curly fries?
Curly fries.
Mountains or the beach?
Oh, man, that's a... Mountains.
Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Chocolate or fruity candy?
Chocolate.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
This question every time. Low or high-rise jeans?
I don't even know the difference, so I'll just pick one. Low-rise jeans.
Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
I personally would have said horror, but that... Okay, well, thank you very much, Rebecca, for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate it. Can you tell everyone how they can get in touch with you and check out what you're doing in the future?
Absolutely. You can go to my website. It's newdayeducationandmotivation.com. And if I want to tell everybody that's listening, if you're having a rough day and you're feeling discouraged with life, or you need to pick me up, go to my website, newdayeducationandmotivation.com. Go to the Be Inspired page, and you'll see some of my poems and motivational quotes.
Very nice. Well, fantastic. We really enjoyed our time with you today, and we know our audience will get so much out of hearing your story. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Awesome.